When you and I worked together that one day on Billions.
Oh, yeah. Back in my boxing days.
Yeah. Did you broke Kelly O'Coin's ribs? Yeah. Did you? You know you're not supposed to hit him,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I love Kelly to death. And Kelly's the man. And he texted me like a week after he filmed that scene. And he was like, hey, buddy, I just want to let you know you broke one of my ribs.
Right away, though, right?
Like, I think the first take. Because they were like, do a flurry. And I was like, and I just swung and I hit him, connected.
Who was in your corner? Was it Deontay Wilder was in your corner?
Deontay Wilder was in Kelly's corner. I had Stipe Miocic, and that was awesome. That was like...
What was Stipe saying to you?
Oh, nothing. He was like, this is cool. Stipe's the man. Stipe is... I'm
So he wasn't giving you any tips on how to do combat sports?
They would go like, cut, and he'd be like, I don't know, you guys are supposed to look terrible. You're doing a good job. Yeah, he was just kind of like that. Because we were supposed to look like buffoons. So it wasn't like, hey, keep your head down. You got to drop your shoulder. He was like, yeah, you guys look like you can't fight. And you're like, then this is exactly what the scene needed.
Check the box.
Yeah. And he was so cool. He was just like, I was just asking him questions as a fan of MMA, just like, when you fought Cormier, you know, like what happened with this? And he's also like a firefighter and also an MMA champion. So you're like, he's the coolest guy. And the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, and it was just a blast for me.
That was a fun day.
Is there any chance of any more Billions at all?
I don't think so.
That's over. We're done.
I think it was fun, and I think we did it. And I think that day of filming, you know, what was the craziest person I met that day? Because we were all talking, like we were all hanging out. Me and you and Bob and other people were like talking.
Memory, yeah.
Bob Memory. And then I'm sitting there talking to this older gentleman, very nice suit. And we're just like sitting there talking, and I just think he's like an extra. And then he walks away, and David Levine, the creator of the show, comes up, one of the creators of the show, him and Brian. David comes up to me, he goes, do you know who you're just talking to? And I was like, no. And he's like, it's the guy that shorted Enron. And you're like, oh, that guy's like,
wow. Are you serious?
I didn't even know. And I had so many more questions about it that I was like, oh, because they would get like finance people to come on the show. And I don't know that. I'm an idiot. So when he walked away, I was like, oh, man, I want to talk to that guy.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they had like, there was a pocket of people, and I don't think we were aware of this, but they brought in like a pocket of like finance heavyweights to be in the scenes.
I thought that they were legit extras to be dressed up because they're like Bobby Axelrod's buddies.
That's exactly, but they were real finance people.
The real.
They were like actual movers and shakers in the finance world, and I don't think any of us knew. We're just like, hey, how you doing? The guy's worth like $7 billion, and he's like, pretty good. How are you? And you're like, well, snacks are kind of cold today. And the guy's like, cool, whatever.
He goes about craft services. The guy who shorted Enron.
Exactly. Like, hey, his coffee's a little past its expiration, but how you doing?
Guy's name is Jim Shanos.
He was there, huh?
And he was one of the guys that was there. It was pretty crazy.
What's your favorite scene from Billions that you were ever part of?
It wasn't a scene. It was season 1.
Okay.
I'm not a trained actor. I was learning how to act on the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was very loud with the other actors. I'm like, I'm a comic, so if I do something stupid, just tell me and I'll try to correct the course.
Yes.
So season 1, there was a scene from the series finale the season finale that was cut.
Yes.
And it's me in Bobby Axelrod's office with Wags. So I'm with Damian and David, and we're filming the scene, and we do a couple takes, and they go to like turn around. And again, I'm a comic, so I'm like always just trying to make people laugh randomly. And we're in the office, and I'm sitting in a seat, and I go, hey. And I lean, and I go, and let out a huge fart. And Damien goes, we can't circulate the air because of the sound. And that was when I was like, oh, no. And I just had to sit in my own... And Damien and David were cool about it, but at first they were like, dude, there's no circulation in this room right now. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But that was like a memory that sticks in my head from the whole show of just looking at Damien going, and he's behind Bobby Axelrod's desk, and he's like, don't do that. You don't do that here.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, would it be a good fantasy team named Dutch Ovening Damian Lewis?
Yeah, the Dutch Oven Damian Lewis.
The Dutch Oven
That's
Damian
pretty funny, a little long.
At least you didn't do it to Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, dude, I would have never. I mean, Giamatti, I didn't know that well. Damien, I ended up knowing really well, and he was the man. He was the man.
You weren't in many scenes with Paul Giamatti, I imagine, right?
One in the whole 7 seasons.
That's it?
It's it. It was in the final season, in like, I think the third to last episode, I finally had a scene, which I'll tell you what, dude, watching someone like Paul Giamatti act live, like being in a scene with him,
right?
is like, it's like watching someone solo on a guitar. I felt the same way about Damian. A bunch of actors on that show were incredible. Costable, Maggie Sift, Asia Kate Dillon, Kelly, our buddy, Kelly O'Coin. You would watch them, but then like when you finally get to do a scene with Paul Giamatti, you're like, oh, damn. You're Paul Giamatti. You know, he's like, meow. Just like, it's like watching someone wail in person on a guitar.
You didn't dare talk to him about his dad, did you? About as a baseball fan?
Yeah, at like table reads, him and I would talk. And sometimes I'd be like, well, your dad was the commissioner of baseball. I was like, your dad booted Pete Rose. And he'd be like, he did. He did. You know? And you're like, I just want to be like, can we talk more about that? But he was so cool. Paul Giamatti was like, man, I'll tell you what, it makes me love everything he does more, because you're just like, he was just the man.
I'd fanboy the hell out of him, which is not professional. But.
And then like Damian would answer questions about Band of Brothers and like Homeland and stuff that I had. He would like tell stories about it, and where you're just like, oh my God. Just sit by him and be like, this is awesome. Maggie was also very cool, because I had a lot of Sons of Anarchy questions. And she was really cool about that.
Well, she was in the first season of Mad Men too.
Oh yeah,
and you know, and she was in the first season credits, the opening credits of Mad Men.
She was so sweet. That entire cast was like so fun to work with. We had a very cool thing where it was just like, and they would say that, like Damian would say that when we were hanging out. He's like, just to let you know, if you ever act on something this big, it's not usually this cool.
Well, again, for hanging out there for that day was something else.
Brian and David did a great job of creating a really cool atmosphere with like everybody hanging out. So that was real fun.
And they just reached out to you as a comic saying, we just need you on the show?
No, I've known Brian and David for a while. I've known Brian for a long time. Brian used to do stand-up when I first moved to New York.
Brian Coppam.
Yeah.
And he's currently the Machine in The Bear right now.
Yeah, he's doing awesome on The Bear. And he, we were friends, and I met David.
The computer. Pardon me. That's who he is. In the,
the computer in The Bear. But he, rocking that Raiders gear. But he...
that's right.
He was like, hey, we're writing this show about finance or whatever. And he was like, why don't you come in and audition, just because you know us. So this might be a thing where you're a little more comfortable in the audition with A.V. Kaufman, the casting director. And I went in and just like, I really, really tried. Like I learned all my lines, and I learned like the difference couple scenes.
Difference between winging it and preparing.
I mean, I'm a comic. Everybody that knows comics, we're the laziest pieces of crap. And so I was like, no, I actually tried. And then they liked me, but they were like, well, we got the actor for this other role that we wanted, that we were thinking maybe Dan might be right for. And then they called me and they're like, hey, we can't. You can either be like the basketball coach in the pilot, or if we go to series, we're going to look to write you in a role in The Office. And I was like, oh, well, you guys are going to go to series. So I made that choice, and it was the right choice.
No doubt. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app, 12 to 3 Eastern.